What's up guys, my name is George and today we're in Miami, Florida at CRM Jewelers talking about Omega versus Rolex. Alright guys, so right here we have the Omega Seamaster, and this is my personal Omega Seamaster, my first luxury wristwatch. And next to it we have the iconic Submariner in two-tone black dial ceramic, and then after that we have the Daytona in ceramic, and then we have a Speedmaster man on the moon manual wind movement. Here we have both iconic divers from the brands. The first one is the Omega Seamaster in ceramic from 2018. The second one is the Rolex Submariner in two-tone black dial. And basically these models have been around since the 1950s. Of course, you know, in 2020 they have ceramic bezels, upgraded movements, nicer bracelets, better finished. So basically they're modern classics, and really these watches kind of are built for the same purpose, diving. Both are 300-meter water resistant. Both are scratch resistant on the bezels because of the ceramic. And really, how do they compare? Well, a lot of you are probably watching and saying, how does Omega compare to Rolex? Well, I'm here to tell you they've been fighting for years. I would say they're the biggest kind of competition to each other. This Seamaster starts around $3,500 in the pre-owned market, you know, good condition box papers. This Rolex is around $11,500 in the two-tone configuration. In terms of build quality, man, they're about the same. I mean, the Rolex is going to have probably a better movement, I would say, but if you have a 2020 Omega, this is an older one, they're going to be pretty comparable in terms of power reserve and quality and accuracy. So that's something to keep in mind. But what you do get with the Rolex is basically the most iconic design in watchmaking. Anyone can walk up to this and recognize it as a Rolex, or if you walk up to this, you might not really recognize it as a nice watch if you don't know anything about watches. But in terms of fit and finish, they do really compare very well. So on the right side here, we have two iconic chronographs from both brands. One is the Rolex Daytona in ceramic, and the other one is the iconic Moonwatch, the Omega Speedmaster. Now these watches are very similar, but they're also very different in many ways. The Daytona is more of a modern kind of piece. It has an in-house movement, it's ceramic, it's an automatic winding movement, whereas the Speedmaster kind of has this old rattly bracelet, it's manually wound, it has a Hess-like crystal, which means it's not that scratch resistant. It's more of an old school kind of watch. It's not as modern as this. What I would like to say is this is like an old school S-Class, where this is a 2020 S-Class. That's the way I would kind of see it. Both are chronographs, both were built originally for racing. Speedmaster kind of now is known for being the Moonwatch. It was the first watch to be worn on the moon, whereas the Rolex is kind of more of a luxury piece that's more known for being a little showy. But both are basically some of the most collectible and desirable watches in the world. I mean, most people would say you need a Speedmaster and a Daytona in your collection. So let's talk about collectability for a second. So if you're a nerd like me, you love watches, but we don't have unlimited budgets. So you got to kind of decide what you want to collect. Now, in my opinion, and with a lot of other collectors, they agree as well, is you should own a Speedy. I mean, I think the Speedy is an iconic piece. It's part of kind of watchmaking history and horology. So I think you should definitely own the Speedy. Now, when you come over here to the divers, I'm a big Bond fan, and this is a Bond watch, so I would personally get the Seamaster, but for most people, they're gonna go with the Rolex. It's more iconic. It's just kind of the perfect do-everything watch. You can have it as your one watch collection, it'll be fine. And then I think the Daytona doesn't have to necessarily be the ceramic one, but I think a Daytona is definitely necessary in a watch collection. So really the one that I would kind of omit would be the Seamaster. If you're not really into the Bond series and you want a watch that represents that, you can kind of skip this and collect these three. These are really the most iconic pieces in the world. All right guys, let's talk about the investment side of things for a second. So what do I think is a good investment from this selection of watches? Well, right off the bat, the Speedy, if bought, I would say 20% under the retail price is a good investment. These are always gonna go up. It's an iconic watch, but you have to buy the Moonwatch. You do not buy the automatic ones. Those will depreciate in value quite drastically, but this will always hold. The Daytona, depending how you buy it, man. If you buy it at retail, of course you're safe. If you buy it, it was $25,000, before Corona, now it's, $22,500. So depending on how you buy it, you'll be safe and you can make your money on it if you keep it long term, but you gotta buy it at the right price. Two-tone is usually pretty stable. This is $11,500 now. If you buy it around there, you'll probably be safe, and maybe your money will go up a little bit in a couple years, like 4 or 5 years, but it's not gonna be as drastic as a stainless steel piece. And then this Seamaster is gonna just keep depreciating. I mean, you buy it at $3,500 because you like it and you enjoy it, not because you wanna make any money on it. If you buy it at that price and you wanna sell it maybe in 3 or 4 years, maybe it'll be worth $2,700, $25,000, so it's gonna definitely drop. So my picks personally would be the Speedy and the Daytona as stuff you want to keep long term. And then this is kind of something you buy and you can enjoy, and then if you want to get out of it, you can, and you'll get your money back. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, guys, so today we basically talked about Omega versus Rolex. We compared the most iconic pieces from two iconic brands. Now, a lot of you probably in the comments are going to be, commenting and saying, how can they even compare? Well, in my opinion, I think they have a place in everyone's collection. I think you should own both brands. They're great, but it matters what you guys think. So let me know in the comments what you guys would buy, what would you collect. And yeah, more videos coming soon, and stay safe during Corona.